In general, second-time home buyers might have more insight into the process than first-timers. But that doesn't mean you won't be facing a whole new set of challenges. Before we get into what's new, let's cover the two most important basics that apply for every home buying situation. Hey everyone, it's your favorite local realtor, Adam Brunelle. I'm so glad to see everyone again. I want to say thank you for all the get well wishes. I really appreciate that. I'm feeling a bit better today after taking it easy this weekend. So in today's video, I want to go over my top tips for second-time home buyers. So let's dig in. The first thing you want to do is find an experienced home loan professional. When you bought your first home, you were probably transitioning from a rental to a mortgage. This time, it may be a little more complicated. That's why working with a reputable lender and an experienced loan officer is absolutely critical, especially if your situation could have you managing two financial transactions simultaneously. Plus, the advice of a skilled mortgage professional is invaluable when it comes to choosing the best loan structure for your set of circumstances. The next step is to get pre-approved. Since your first mortgage, pre-approval standards have likely gotten a little more strict. Additionally, you can now do the entire process online and get an underwritten pre-approval turnaround in hours rather than weeks. Not only does this speed up the whole home buying experience, but it also tells you exactly how much you can comfortably borrow so you don't waste time looking at homes that are way out of your range. Some qualities that will put you in a better position for pre-approval are having a good credit score, earning a steady income, and being as close to debt-free as possible. Once you have a lender and loan officer to work with, and you've gotten your pre-approval, it's time to go shopping. But the next question is, should you buy your new home before or after putting the current one on the market? Let's look at these two scenarios. You're buying home number 2 before selling home number 1. The stress of carrying two mortgages at the same time is a lot for the average person. If you plan to buy the new home before selling your current one, add up the required down payment and anticipated closing costs up front. If things look like they're going to be a little tight financially, consider the following approaches to see which, if any, might alleviate the situation. Make a strings attached offer. This approach typically works best when sellers are less likely to get multiple offers. When you find a house that strikes your fancy, make an offer with a sale and settlement contingency, meaning you'll go through with a purchase only if you can find a buyer for your existing home. That doesn't mean the new home is yours though. The seller can still seek other offers, and it's risky because in a buyer's market you might also have a hard time selling. But when it works, it takes off a lot of the pressure of carrying two mortgages. Ask for a cushion. Confident that your current home will sell quickly but still need a little extra time to pull together the down payment and closing costs for the new place? Ask to push out the closing date of the one that you're buying. This way, you can use some of the profits from the sale of home number 1 to cover the financial requirements of home number 2. Again, this approach works best in a buyer's market. Tap into your home equity. You would expect that coming up with a down payment for a second home would be easier than doing it the first time. But that's not always the case. On top of closing costs, you may also need a little extra in your wallet to cover a transition period where you might need to find accommodations for a week or so. Consider borrowing against the equity in your current home by applying for a HELOC, or home equity line of credit. This will give you access to some money for the down payment of your second home, and you can pay it off when your home sells. Rent out your first home. If you don't need the profits from the sale of your first home to make your down payment on the new one, consider renting it out. If the market's right, this would allow you to cover the first home's monthly mortgage payments while buying the second, and it's a lot less tricky than buying and selling at the same time. The second option is you're buying home number 2 after selling home number 1. Maybe you're planning on selling your current home before buying a new one. The significant benefit of this strategy is that you'll know exactly how much equity is available to put towards your new home. And don't discount the fact that it can be infinitely less stressful to finish one transaction entirely before diving into the next. Still, it may not be so clean cut. Any gap between closing dates could force you to find short-term accommodations, and those costs can add up. Here are a few tips on dealing with that situation. Don't be so motivated. Nothing prompts a low-ball offer more than finding out that a seller is motivated to move fast because they're already under contract with another home. By selling one house before buying another, you get the luxury of time plus room to negotiate. You won't feel the need to jump on the first offer that comes your way, and because you're not under pressure to sell, you might be able to ask for a higher price. Make a pit stop. Moving twice is never fun, but doing so can take the pressure off and give you the time needed to find the perfect next home. And with the Airbnb type rental options readily available, finding an interim place to stay while you shop for your next home is pretty simple. This is especially handy if you're relocating far away or to an area that you're not yet super familiar with. Rent from yourself. Well, sort of. If you find yourself in a scenario where you sell your first home before you can move into the second, why not ask the buyers to let you stay on for a month or two after closing? Sounds odd, but it's more common than you might think. To do this, you need to do a rent-back agreement in which the buyers take on the role of your landlord and you become the tenant for a short time. Sure, you'll pay a little bit of rent, but it'll buy you some time until you can get the keys to the new house. As you can see, veteran homeowners have a few things to catch up on before jumping into the deep end. It's always a more straightforward process with the help of a great mortgage professional. So, to get started, find a loan officer in the area you want to buy in. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, be the cool guy or girl and give it a thumbs up. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure I get back to you. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.